We are at Friday Night Training. I am Dr. Stephanie Rimka filling in for the standard Tim Herr. He just left Singapore, and Chris Kim is out there doing a couple things too. So let's let them have a night off, and you get Dr. Rimka. I'm going to share my screen. It's going to be short and sweet of some of the reminders. Then I'm going to do a little bit of a training. I'm going to suggest maybe a provocative training after a couple minutes here if you want to stick around for that. Something I hope will help you have a personal breakthrough in your own personal life, as well as therefore translating into your business. Because your business, I will tell you, is 100% a reflection of the work you've done on yourself. End of story. You are the driving consciousness behind your business success. So if you do not work on yourself, your business will reflect that. I am a very strong believer of that. So let me share my screen. I'm not as sophisticated as some of your other presenters, and I don't care. Doing the best I can. Okay. Nobody brought me in for technical reasons. I'm smart as hell and I have a good posture. That's about all we got from Dr. Rimka. Okay. So a couple things I want to remind you. Just a few big things from the end of the month. What day is this? I got to use a calendar. It's the 30th. Hey, what? I don't even know how many days. Uh-oh, we have a 31st. So we are almost there. Tomorrow at midnight Pacific time, we have the end of the pay period. And here's a few things you need to know. We have the bundle. The Memorial Day specials are still going on all the way until then. A last minute pop-up party on a Saturday, because don't forget, you have 3 rolling months to hit manager or senior manager. What does that mean? Remember, manager is 3,000 in SP. How close are you? Is this 1 or 2 sales away from you locking in that new commission for life? If it is, do not let this moment pass you by. 6,000 SP for a senior manager. Why wouldn't you want to double or triple yourselves in income, in pay? Give yourself a pay raise, double or triple. Get it done. We have an incredible special. Push it, push it, push it. End of the month volume. It really, really matters. Now, let me remind you, we have a 3-month rolling volume for managers and senior managers. So if you joined in March, then your rolling 3 months are March, April, and May. So don't let the March volume all fall off without locking in manager or senior manager. So look at your numbers. If you don't know how to do that, text your upline right now. She's going to get real mad at me, but I don't care. It's okay. That's your problem. So April, March, April, May. March is going to drop off for the manager, senior manager. So be aware of that. That's when you came in, you bought a big pack and you got other people buying packs. This is the time to lock it down, hit it before you lose that volume for that 3-month rolling. Now, here's the thing, that's what's going to happen. Don't forget, managers get 20% commission on their sales, senior manager 25 plus an extra 5% as possible. So up to 30%. And you lock that in for life, that higher commission. If you are a manager about to hit senior manager, once you hit that 6,000 as a senior manager, you're about to roll into a 5-month rolling period. What does that mean? Because now you're on the transition as you run to team leader. Okay. So it's a little bit different. So then you would have March, April, May, June, July, right? You have 5 months, most recent 5 months that's going to accumulate for you to hit that team leader rank, which is really, really important because the pay increases dramatically on this. So I want you to check your numbers, and don't forget to check to make sure you also have your required customers. Managers need, and senior managers 3 and team leaders 5. So you can qualify towards getting your money released. All right. So let's see. Now, reminder, tomorrow, Saturday, Tim Herr will be back in the States. Hi, Pookie. Y'all want to see my dog? You may not, but you're going to, because he's my Pookie and he's my favorite in the world. He helps me make a lot of money. Love him. He spends a lot of money. He wants me to give him more food. As all of you probably want more food. And that's how you get more food. You put more people on tomorrow's call with Mr. Tim Herr. He does a great opportunity. Y'all know it. So it's Saturday. There's all those time zones. I'm in Eastern, so I'm going to say 4 p.m. Eastern. So 3, blah, 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 Hawaii Pacific. Take a snapshot. Y'all should have had it. Take a screenshot if you don't have it. Also, put on your calendar and show up for it is the monthly rundown. We do this once a month, the beginning of the month, typically the very first Monday, unless we have a holiday. So it is June 2nd, 5 p.m. Pacific. You will see Miss Betty Perez and Mr. Danny Bay. They will be going over recognition and then all event updates and giving you all the new specials and everything. We know we've been in some IT glitches. I'm not going to act like we haven't been. It's been a tough time. They're going to give some very, very important updates on what's been corrected and in the timelines and what you can expect I would definitely, if you're interested in building a business, be on that call, take notes so you can implement that information as quickly as possible throughout your team. All right. Now, what's about to happen in June 1st is we're going to open up the unilevel compensation pay plan of this whole thing. So we've been excited about it, but we have to make sure you qualify. So to qualify to start going into the unilevel, managers can get there. Managers can start getting first and second generate as a manager. You've barely done anything. This is fantastic. But people you brought in first and second level, you can start making commissions on everything they're doing. You could sign up some incredible rock star doing 100 times better than you, and you can make 5% on whatever he or she is doing if you qualify. So to qualify, you need 10 customers, and you need to be hitting that 1,000 SP that month. So you really need to work on focusing on creating a culture where everybody's hitting 1,000 SP as fast as possible within the first few hours of the month, as far as I'm concerned. So get this loaded and locked in. So June 1st, you can capitalize on getting extra money in your check from the unilevel. So even managers can get it. Then senior managers, you can see, can go even twice as deep into the pay plan. Team leaders can go 3 times as deep, that many generations into it. Directors and higher go even further with a leadership override on their entire group. So if you were not motivated to get there, you should be. All right. I want you to be really clear that where you need, but the most important thing, qualify. Get your 1,000 SP ASAP. Do not be waiting to the 29th, the 30th, or the 31st of the month to qualify. That is a sign of mediocrity and making the minimums your maximums, and that is no path to success. So saying it right there again, screenshot it if you need it. You need 10 lifetime customers. They don't even have to order anything. You just need 10 customer accounts. Go get it done to open up the unilevel, as well as 1,000 SP. Get this done so you can get this as fast as possible. Then you can focus on getting your 20 lifetime customers and your 40 lifetime customers to get that extra 5% or that extra 10% to increase your commission even higher. Remembering, managers can earn up to 30%, senior managers up to 35, 40%, team leaders up to 50% if you get that extra bonus by having so many lifetime customers. Okay, so this is just another, just kind of give you an example, if you haven't seen this, of what the power of the unilevel. It's just a small example. So imagine you have these planners that are doing 1,000 in BP. You have 3 planners that are doing that, and how that just keeps, if they keep duplicating that down the path of what that's going to be. So in one example, if that's the number you're getting as 1,000 BP, if this is the culture you're creating upon your team, like get it done, get it done, get it done, you're looking at a month of just in the unilevel, once you have this many generations down, 33,000 a month, just from that compensation, just from that aspect. But if you create a culture of, oh, the minimums are the maximums, just do $100 BP order, it's only 3,300. You lose a whole zero with that comma. I don't know about you, but I like the other number. Now, if you're somebody that wants to really push it and you're like, listen, I'm not playing. I didn't come here to play games. I'm a grown up. I'm an adult. I want double. And imagine if you created the path to success where you push your people and say, listen, 2,000 BP is the minimum. Then suddenly, just on the unilevel alone, once you have this many levels down, look at 66,000 a month. So I just wanted to give you an example of what is possible depending on the energy, effort, and the mindset you place into this. Okay, now let's get to the fun part. What I'm really going to do. That part is so boring to me. How about you guys? How are we doing so far? I'm going to check. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to go back to this. But I want to see the chat. How do I find the chat? There it is. All right. All right. So are we clear on what's happening? And where we got 2 more days. You got 2 more days to lock and load on this month. But I'm going to do a little bit of something that I like to do. My favorite part of network marketing is personal development. And although this may ruffle some feathers and go in contradiction to what some other leaders have said, I think the majority of the messaging that we get on these calls about finding your why is actually inaccurate. But I'm going to suggest this. We're going to work on this tonight. You're going to find your why, or you're going to stay in a lie. And here's what I mean. Before I get started, I want to tell you a story. I didn't even introduce myself. I apologize, but that's okay. So before I tell you who I am, I want to tell you a story about bees. My nephew is 25 or 26. I kind of forget how old Kyle is right now because he's kind of functionally like a 15, 16, or 17-year-old. He has severe autism and an IQ of 70. I've been taking care of him for his whole life as soon as he got his diagnosis, and he is the one that changed my career path. When your sister calls you up, the person who is my hero, and says, I need your help, I stop everything I'm doing. I say, let's get it done. Kyle is completely unmedicated, very functional for an IQ of 70, totally nonverbal, and as happy as can be. And what he has just recently discovered is that maybe he wants to be a beekeeper. So my sister took him yesterday to a beekeeping society lecture in Michigan, and there was about 75 people there. And I looked up something about bees, and I want to tell you a story about bees in honor of my nephew and my sister. And I think it ties in very well to what I'm going to explain to you today because it's about you and bees. So when a hive loses its queen, it should be the end. There's no new life, there's no order, and there's no future. Might sound something like maybe what some of us have been dealing with in our own lives at some time. But here's what happens. The bees don't panic, and they don't wait for salvation. They choose an ordinary larva, one just like the others, and they go ahead and feed this ordinary larva royal jelly. That is a potent, nourishing substance that's only made by the very healthiest of all the bees. And with that nourishment, with that pouring into the larva, with that feeding of only the best, the highest nourishment, the larva transforms. It's the same DNA, but yet there's a different destiny. She becomes the queen, not because of her genes, but because of what the hive poured into her. She's not born a queen. She's cultivated. And in becoming her fullest expression, she doesn't just save herself, she saves the entire hive. Now, why do I bother telling you that story? Because tonight I'm going to challenge you to choose yourself. Don't wait for someone to discover you. Don't wait for someone to pour into you. I need you to become the larva and the bees giving the royal jelly. So instead, I'm going to ask you to begin nourishing yourself so you can become the leader you are meant to become. So with that, I am Dr. Stephanie Rimka. I'm a holistic doctor, a neuroscience specialist, and a 7-figure annual earner in the space. But tonight, that story about me doesn't matter because it's really about you. So if you don't know why you're already here, you're going to keep calling your inner conflict self-sabotage. But here's the truth. Self-sabotage isn't real. It's just miscommunication. It's your soul trying to redirect you. And your nervous system is doing its job to keep you safe. That procrastination is a sacred pause. That fear is feedback. You aren't broken, you're misaligned. And tonight, we're going to nourish the part of you that knows it's time. The part of you that's ready to tell the truth and rise. So here's what I know. We've all heard this phrase, find a why that makes you cry. Great, but most people don't cry. You know why? Because they just copy. They say time freedom, their kids, travel. That's not a why. That's a form of attraction marketing. Your why has to be emotionally anchored to you. It has to live in your nervous system to the point that when things get hard, you just keep moving your feet. You are so intrinsically motivated, there's nothing around you that's going to stop this. That's a real why. Now, where does this come from? Most people can't find their why because they're lying to themselves about their real values. It's always to themselves. I'm not calling you a liar to other people. The lie begins inside. They don't actually know the difference between what sounds noble and what's real. So this is the truth, and it's why most people don't want to know this. This is all based upon your core values. Your why is based upon your core values. Your core values dictate what you prioritize in life. And pretty much all the time, your core values are born from pain, from what you were missing. So if you value, let's say, security, you likely grew up with chaos. If you value recognition, you probably felt invisible. And let's say you value freedom. It might be because you've been tightly controlled as a child. All right. So I'm asking you tonight to stop choosing your fantasy and like your fantasy self values, what you want to believe about yourself, what you want people to believe about you as your values, and have the courage to meet who you actually are. Because believe it or not, who you are is pretty damn awesome. Okay. So in my chip, I run a course, so I'm going to show you a couple things. So again, I don't tolerate the term self-sabotage among my team. That's a cop-out. You are never sabotaging yourself. You are never attacking yourself. Your body doesn't attack itself. Your mind doesn't attack itself. It's following a pattern of behavior that feels comfortable and safe. And anything that's causing discomfort is your soul's way of alerting you you're off track. You've gone the wrong way. Please listen to me. Pay attention. I don't think you're deviant. I think you're not listening. So I teach a self-leadership course called CHIP, and it's only for network marketers in this industry. And I walk people through a very deep value mapping using 13 questions. So tonight I was going to give you 5 of the most powerful questions. So go ahead and take a picture, a screenshot. I'm going to give you what I think if you go through these 5, you are going to be able, this will take you 30 minutes of your time. I'm moving the chat out of the way. Okay. If you're committed to say, I love myself enough, I'm worth 30 minutes to tell the truth. Write these things down. And I'll give you some examples around this. So for example, what do you fill your personal space with? Okay, how do you spend your time? What energizes you? What do you spend your money on? And where are you most organized? This is going to tell you the truth of who you really are and what you really value, not in your fantasy mind of what you would like people to think about yourself or what you would even like to think about yourself, but what matters. Okay, so here's this. I'm going to walk you through a few of mine. Just for number 1, what do I fill my personal space with? Okay, now proximity matters with space. On my body to 1.5 feet is the most intimate, vulnerable space. Like I don't let everybody in to be with 1.5 feet near me. That's going to be the people you hug, you kiss, they're in the bed with you, in the tub with you. Does this make sense? It could be the jewelry I'm wearing. It's the stuff that's really important to me is closest to me. All right. So then we have, 1.5 feet to 4 feet, then 4 to 10 feet, then 10 feet and beyond. Like there's a distance for a reason. So whether you want to believe this, the further you get away from your body, the less important something or someone is to you. I live 800 miles from my family. There's a reason for that. So I don't live in a delusion about what matters to me. I live 800 miles away on purpose. Okay. I tell the truth about it. I love my family, not my highest priority, however. Understand? Start telling the truth. So then I want you to look at the person, the thing, whatever that object is that you fill in the personal space. I want 3 things. What are the top 3 things? And then what are the top 3 uses or reasons for it? So let me give you an example. Okay. This is straight up really for me. For me, the number 1 thing that I really deal with all the time in my personal space, the closest to me always is my phone. Okay. Now, what am I doing with the phone? Not everybody's going to be the phone, you guys. Like some people leave their phone. They don't talk to people for 12. Oh, I don't know. I left it somewhere. I lost my phone. Okay. For me, what do I do with the phone? 1, I manage my company. I film videos for work. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget this. I talk to loved ones. All right. So the dominant values you see from this, okay, is leadership, connection, even safety. All right. Because there's that. So we have leadership, and there's also work as finance or expression, and then connection with the talking of loved ones. The second thing that's in my space the most, what do I feel that I'm around the most, is my laptop, computer. So what do I do on the laptop? I do different things on my phone than I do on my computer. Like I would never do this call on my phone. It's only on my computer. So what I had to sit there. I'm like, what do I do on my laptop? I use my laptop to write. I use it to research, write and research. I see patients on it. I never see patients on my phone. I work with my patients on my laptop, and I create content on my laptop. So that points again to the values of teaching, service, finance, and intellectual pursuit. That's what I do with my laptop. I don't watch TikTok videos. I don't watch movies. I don't create, I don't know, I don't create art on it. I don't do photography. I don't use it for that at all. It's not what I do. All right. So you got to figure out what you're doing with your computer or your phone, whatever you're doing. The third thing that I use in real life reality that's around the time right now in my life, because things have shifted, it's my dog, Axel. And so what do I get from Axel? Why is he always around me? Why am I always with this dog? He represents affection, caretaking, nurturing, and joy. Okay. So what I'm looking at is what am I doing with it? Right. And so, and why? Three things only. Top three things, top three reasons what you're doing with them. So already from that one question, we can see a little bit of a theme. Teaching, researching, connection comes up repeatedly, just with that. So as I go through, how do I spend my time? What energizes me? What do I spend my money on? As I answer these honestly, it becomes very clear. So once I answered all 13 questions, but I swear you guys spend these five questions, you'll be able to figure this out. And I'm going to give you all the main values in a second. You can screenshot that. For me, I'm telling you exactly what my top three values are. Teaching and contribution. So I use two words usually. So it's teaching contribution is my number one value. I create content. I educate clients. I share knowledge from science and spirit. I'm driven to give back and uplift through understanding, through teaching. It's constantly. Two, connection and intimacy. I'm on the phone with people I love. I share, time with friends on Zoom or phone, and even Axel for laughter, connection. I crave meaningful conversations. I'm a person that doesn't like to build alone. I like to build with. So that's very important to me. The whole reason I teach CHIP is for connection. That's what the C, stands for. Number three, learning and growth. Super high value for me. If you knew how much money I spent on books and courses, it would probably blow some of your minds. Like it's just where I spend all my money. It's pretty much going to be related to education and betterment of myself, personal development. So I spend hours every day researching, writing, and studying. It's not curiosity. It is soul-driven obsession with me. It is what I was put here to do. There is no question. No one has to remind me. No one has to encourage me. It's all I know to do. I've been doing it since I was a little girl. There weren't enough books in the library for me to check out. It's how it's always been. All right. So here's what I want you to, and I'll tell you when I was honest with this. The last time I did this was 2020. I would suggest you do this at least once a year and you evaluate this. What I noticed, and it was really illuminating to me because I did this recently, I gave up my top three forever always included freedom. I pushed freedom down and moved connection and intimacy up. Health was always in my top three, and I pushed that down. Okay. So you're going to change. So for me to know I gave up freedom to replace it for intimacy, connection, and love, for me, I'm very proud of that. And it happened through years of effort. I'm not mad that I love freedom, but freedom was costing me commitment. And once I was able to replace that, life changed for me. And I'm very grateful it did. Now, what I've noticed in doing this top three, wealth building, money accumulation is not in my top three. Now, if I want that to matter, research has been clear that if I want to make the kind of generational impact with wealth, that I feel called to, I have to move wealth building into my top five. If you don't have wealth building in your top five, that might be why you end up with no money all the time. You're like, it just never seems to happen, right? Because it's not really a value for you. You might pretend it's a value. And why do you do that? Because you've adopted Tim Herz or Chris Kim or some other CEO or your daddy's values. They're not yours. You might value relationships and marriage way over money. and you might be the most successful person in that top value. Give yourself credit for it. So I think it's really important to assess where you are, and acknowledge how you're already winning. If spirituality or religion is in your top three, and you really commit to that, and that's a very healthy part of your life, don't beat yourself up about finances if that's number 7 in your priorities, because you're very successful at what's a high value for you. So I want you to tell the truth here. So let me show you sort of just a short, you can go on a search engine and say, give me a list of common core values. But here's a general list to give you an idea of where I was coming up with this. So you can use different words that fit for you. And so I usually have like a twofer, I say connection, intimacy, and stuff like that. So we have things that fall under the integrity and trust, might be a very high value. And when you discover what your values are, and then you find out what your partner's values are and your best friend's values, you can stop judging people the same. Like there's nothing wrong with them. They just have different values than you. So you might take it as, oh, that just means so, it means that. No, it doesn't mean that to everybody. It means it to you. So if connection and intimacy is a top value for you, and you use your phone as a number one thing is connection and intimacy, and you message somebody and they don't message you for a day, you think it means they don't care about you. But they don't use their phone for connection and intimacy, and they don't even have that as that high of a priority. It's not what you think. Like, you've made an assumption by thinking other people's values are yours. That's not how this works. So I don't want anybody on my team to adopt my values. I want them to know their values, which is what they prioritize most important in life. And I want to honor that. And I want to see where RIMAN business fits into that. And I want to leverage their top 3 values and to see how I can sync them up to make them care more. So some leaders will say, I just can't get my team to work. I just don't know what to do. Why don't they do this? Why won't they do that? And it's often because you have a leader whose top value is finance and money accumulation, and they're working with somebody whose top value is fun and joy. So you're speaking the wrong language. They don't care about the check. How much fun have you brought into life? Their top connection is connection and intimacy. How have you made them feel connected to you? How have you brought them a part of the community? That's what matters to them. And if you're a connection, intimacy, fun person, and you never talk about money, all the money types are like, I don't really give it. I could care less about that. I don't want to go on vacation. I want more bank. So again, learning where you are and where your planners are will help you have a better path of communication as well. So go ahead and take a screenshot on that. So now, again, the time, really tells you a lot, hey, Pookie, on what you're doing. So again, I spend all my time creating and writing. I spend my time researching and writing, and I spend my time connecting with people, whether that's on social media, in courses, with patients, or deep conversations with friends in person, on the phone, or in my community. I know how I spend my time. I don't lie about it. I don't spend hours in the gym. I don't work out. Even though health is a major priority, I spend my time biohacking. I use lazy health strategies. I spend a lot of money on health, but it has actually gone lower in the list because I'm moving wealth building into it. So I have to start behaving differently if I want to start building wealth building into my top 5. And I realize I don't have this as the top. I better start changing my behaviors. I need to spend less money on books. I need to spend less money on courses about health and neuroscience, and start learning about business, wealth accumulation, buying assets, buying businesses. If I want to be who I say I want to be, I better put money, time, and energy into it. Okay? So if you're not getting the results you want, it's because you're not in alignment. So authenticity absolutely begins with alignment, and alignment requires truth. You must start telling the truth. All right? So if you're trying to impress anyone but yourself, it's already a losing battle. That means you're betraying your values. Where does posture come from? That idea that I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need anybody's support. I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless. It's because I'm in person with high posture has high alignment with their core values. I do not question what my values are. I know exactly what I'm here to do on this earth, and I'm going for it. And I let nothing distract me from doing those things. Nothing else is as important. No, I don't really care about that. Don't want to do it. Don't care. No, 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 no. When it's there, yes. So it's easy to say no. If you're struggling to say no, you have boundary issues, it's because you do not know your core values yet. You've adopted someone else, and you're living up to someone else's idea of what you want, how you want things to be. All right. So Values can change and you can't change it unless you see what it actually is. So please understand, I think going through that, you can elevate where you are anytime. I knew I needed to give up my strong desire for freedom if I was ever going to be in a truly committed relationship. And I got it. And he died on me. So there's still a little hiccup there, probably, right? I can't ignore it. Like, wow, I got it. And then he died. So I might still have something to work on when it comes to that. It's not a bad thing. I'm not chastising myself. I'm curious. I'm curious where else I can grow to get what I say I actually want. All right. So now what's my next slide? I hope I click. Well, let me see what happens when I click. It might be the end of it. Okay, it is. So here's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna stop the share. You guys should have had that. So ultimately, mindset has to be emotional. It is not about mantras. It's about your own regulation. If you can't feel safe in your own body, you can't build your business. And this mindset really comes down to, can I return to the truth in the face of fear? We've had some scary things happening recently. We've had some upset. We've had some disappointments. A little bit of this isn't working. A little bit of that isn't working. Volumes may not be what you expected. I understand. I'm there too. But my mindset has to be, can I override panic with logic? You know, you're going to need a why that's stronger than your panic. My why doesn't actually make me cry. No, because I'm really solid in it. I know exactly what I'm here to do. I know what those core values are. That drives me in everything I do, the way I think, the way I move, the way I post, the way I posture, the way I reply. There's nobody who can shake me from that. So when stressful things happen, I pull it back and say, well, is this in alignment with what I'm going for, what I believe in, what I prioritize, what I want the world to know I'm here to do, what I want on my tombstone, basically, right? If it's not, I can pause and say, well, there's nothing I can do about that. Let me go back to research and writing and teaching because I know how to do that. I can control that, right? That's me. That's just giving you examples of what works, right? So, and you need to understand why wealth building must become a value. Because if you don't figure this out, if wealth building isn't in your top 5, you won't build wealth. When I learned this a couple of years ago, it was very sobering. It was very shocking to me. I thought I could just be a good person, be of service, help people, and the money will just be there. Nope, not how it works. Wealth building had to become an actual value. I had to start, and I'm still working on shifting that. Some people, it's there because the pain of the poverty or the absence was so strong. That was their top. That was the choice their system made. I must wealth building because no matter what, that was the most pain. I will stop it. Now I'm driven to win. I'm obsessed by helping. And that came from poverty, but I didn't really accumulate. I didn't assimilate. Like money wasn't connected. It was helpfulness. It was service. And then I finally had to go, oh, yeah, but I need to learn to attach money. Like I need to be okay with getting money for being helpful. And that took me time. I wasn't okay with it. I felt guilty. So if that's what's happening with you, you need to figure that out. And these questions will help you with that. One, you got to tell the truth, right? Wealth building, isn't about greed. It's about healing. It's about choice. It's about power with integrity. And it's about supporting your mission. So here's what I'll also add for you advanced folks who maybe you already know your values. You're a team leader on your way to director. I'm going to suggest this. Delegation is a leadership skill. And this is a more advanced thing, but you've really got to figure things out. I don't clean my house. I don't cut my lawn. I don't paint my house. I don't really even cook. People cook for me. They clean for me. They do all kinds of things that I don't enjoy doing. I don't enjoy it. If I enjoy planting flowers, I'm going to plant the flowers. But if it doesn't bring me a reward of pleasure or something like that, I'm not doing it because my time is more valuable. So I delegate things that I don't love doing. And then it's as simple as that. So the more aligned your values are, the more you're going to be able to do that because the more magnetic you're going to become. And then you realize you don't have to do everything. You're going to have to give up the control freak aspect of you because I only do the things that are the most meaningful to me. I write, I research, I create, I deal one-on-one with the coaching and the patients as necessary. The rest, I pretty much delegate. People ask me, I don't know how to use Canva. I don't know how to do this. I don't know. How do you run an ad? I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have a CPA. I have a COO. I have an operations manager. I have a VP of sales. I have a CPA. I have a bookkeeper. I don't know how they do what they do. I don't care. That's not my genius. It's a waste of my energy. Why would I want to waste my time getting really good at making a flower on my toilet paper like my housekeeper does? They're incredible at it. I'd just rather pay them to do it and go, oh my God, look how lovely it is. They fold laundry so much better than me. Like, you know how, have you ever seen me fold laundry? It's like it's fine. I don't care because I'd rather go write a book. I'm more helpful writing a book than I am folding my laundry. Now, I can do all that stuff, but you get to a point you're like, I'm done. I want to do what's most meaningful for me and delegate the rest. So here's what you need to know. There's these rights of delegation, they're called. The right task under the right circumstance, the right person with the right supervision and the right communication leads to something called self-actualization. Self-actualization, getting to the highest state that you can possibly be, requires delegation. So that's a pro tip, more of an advanced kind of lesson, but I want you to know about it. So I hope you took the screenshot of the 5 questions. This is a mini snapshot. But with that, most of you, 90% of you should be able to figure out your values in the value sheet. You can also just look that up. I'm like, okay, what are these values? So you answer the questions first. Then you see the pattern and you match it up to the values. Don't try to take the values and lie in your answers. If you lie in your answers, you're lying to yourself. You're lying. Have the courage to tell the truth. So tonight, I'm not asking you to rank up. I'm not asking you for more volume at the end of the month, even though I mentioned some of that. I'm asking you to get honest. If you had 12 months to live and still had to work, what would be worth it? That's your why. But you're going to figure it out by answering those questions. If I had 12 months to live, there's no way you could stop me from teaching. There's no way you could stop me from writing. There's no way you would stop me from creating content. I'm obsessed with it. I'm driven by it. My soul is happiest when I'm doing it. It feeds me. What feeds you? Now, I can tie that right into building network marketing. I create content with RIMAN. I create content in my leadership program for my RIMAN planners. I create content on social media. I can put it all together so it all satisfies me and it ties into finance and wealth building. I hope that makes sense because if you're able to do this and you're able to stay consistent, it's very easy for me to be like a dog with a bone. I'm consistent and persistent because I know my values and I'm highly driven by them. You need nobody to, I don't need a cheerleader. I don't need a coach. You don't have to remind me what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. It's burned into me. My soul is ecstatic doing it. Why wouldn't I continue? Okay. So if this cracked open something in you, and I'm hoping it did, please know I'm not going anywhere. If you want more of this kind of content, I am over on Instagram and I'm now on TikTok. I'm constantly pouring into people who want to build soul-aligned wealth and beauty from the inside out. I hope you had a great time, and I hope it's a little bit of a different Friday night for you. And I hope I didn't disappoint Mr. Tim Herr or Chris Kim. Have a beautiful one, you guys. Answer the questions, spend the 30 minutes. You are worth it.